Well, at least it ain't too rainy today. It's been pretty nice so far. Yeah, just enough to get us all wet.
If it starts getting more rain, it will make the string a little heavier, the arrow's getting wet, and probably gonna hit a little bit lower. Other than that, it's not that bad. It's worse if it was windy, I think.
Welcome back to Uchi Creek Pro Pressure Point Shootdown as Known Pro is on deck. And we're kind of laughing, Darren Christianberry, because, yeah, it ended up raining after they were shooting that pretty hard and heavy. But here's the way they came off after 2 days of qualifying. They shot 40 arrows for 400 points as par, and here's where they stand.
Curtis Broadnax at 50 up.
Wow.
That's a bunch. I don't know how many bonus rings he shot, but coming in at 450.
25.
Dane Johnson in second at a 442. Kyle Douglas at 440. Justin Henn at 438. Chris Perkins at 438. So you got 12 points between first and fifth, which is actually quite a bit for the Known Pro. A lot of times they're a lot tighter than that, but I think the rain yesterday, that whole round yesterday, is what affected the scores. But Curtis at 50 up, Chris at 38 up, 14 ring in play. It's not over till it's over.
And looking at that, Curtis Broadnax, I mean, you got to take into account that, 460 has been a kind of a typical score in the dry. So 450 in the extreme rain has been outstanding.
Solid round.
Now let's take a look at what happened last time we had our Known Pro category, which was in Foley, Alabama.
The competition in the Known Pro division seems to ramp up every year. After qualifications, Kyle Douglas went into the shootdown with a score of 60 up, which used to be a score that seemed unreachable. Now it has become common. And Douglas's lead was only 2 points over Ace Coleman when the finals started.
And your first place qualifier, Kyle Douglas.
Not surprising, the finals was a bonus ring sniping fest.
And it's a 14 for Hansen.
For Stefan.
Unfortunately for the guys behind him, Douglas hit a bonus ring on all 5 targets in the finals to put out of reach any chance of someone taking away the win.
Is anybody within 10 points of Kyle Douglas after this one?
That's going to be it.
Since no one was within 10 points of Douglas after 5 arrows, there was no need for a 6th.
Ace Coleman
Hear
and
that?
Jimmy Lutz have tied?
But there was a 6th arrow shot by Ace Coleman and Jimmy Lutz to break their tie and determine who finished second and who finished third.
Oh.
Coleman's arrow was just a bit closer to the middle of the 10 ring than Lutz's, and so they finished 2 and 3 respectively.
That was a good one. That one felt really good. I went out there and kind of executed my game plan perfectly. So I can't ask for a better weekend. It feels good to start off the first ASA with a win. You know, it's been a rough weekend. My grandpa passed away Thursday night while I was out here, so it kind of feels cool to be able to do that and know he's watching down on me.
But this week is totally different, Darren Christianberry. We are outside.
Yep.
The sun has been going in and out, and we have wind to contend with.
It's not as easy as it was indoors, so let's see what's going to happen.
And we're getting ready for our Known Pro category. And we know that the distance of these targets that are set down has been a variety. We have Stan Mule Deer on target number 1, and that's going to be a 45-yard poke. And then we have an elevation javelina. That's 37 yards downrange. 50 yards downrange is going to be our Shibuya Impala, gold tip Russian boar on 34. And then we have our Bow Doodle grazing doe at 43.5 yards. But we're ready to introduce our archers to the field of play. Here's PJ Riley.
All right, here we go. Now we're going to get started with the known pro division. Our 5th place qualifier with a score of 438 from Ontario, Canada, shooting for Matthews, Christopher Perkins. And our 4th place qualifier with a score of 438 from Asheville, North Carolina, shooting for Elite, Justin Hanna. Our 3rd place qualifier with a score of 440 from Liberty, Utah, shooting for Matthews, Kyle Douglas. And our 2nd place qualifier with a score of 442 from Laoda, Indiana, shooting for Matthews, Dane Johnson. And our number 1 qualifier with a score of 450 from Social Circle, Georgia, shooting for Elite, Curtis Broadnax. Thank you, PJ.
All right, so we're ready for this one. Greg White sitting in the booth with Darren Christianberry as the archers have a look down range through their range finders. And that's what the known category is known for.
Yes.
That's a play on words there. But yeah, that's the known is they know the distance. And that's the difference between the known and the unknown classes, of course.
Should make the rings a lot easier to hit when you know the distance, but you throw the wind factor in there and $12, $15, $18, $20,000 factor in there, sometimes they're not as easy to hit.
And of course, if you look at our first round, which you saw the rewind a little while ago, and there's a good look at the targets they're going to be shooting for. Is the stand mule deer is on the left part of your screen, and the elevation javelina. That's our 1st and 2nd targets. And of course, that's going to be Curtis Broadnax. And one thing to look out for is that depending on the wind, it's blowing slightly. You got to watch the right side of that stand mule deer. People have been hitting right. Curtis is going to know that by now.
He should. I'm interested to what. Yeah, I don't know if he's an upper. He did call upper, so he shot just left of the upper there. The guys behind him should be aggressive because they're 12 points behind. These arrows go fast, so if you're going to make up points, you got to do it quick.
That was a good look at Christopher Perkins, who has got more wins in this class than anyone else. And there's Kyle Douglas, who won last time. And by the way, Kyle Douglas is the only archer from our Foley, our first one of the year, Alabama, to make the shoot down again.
Repeat shoot off.
For this year.
10 for Curtis.
All right, so Broadnax starts off with a solid 10. And trust us, we've been through a lot of matches on this field. That first target, the stand mule deer, 10 is a really good score.
10 for Dane.
Dane Johnson, elevation javelina. In with a 10.
Kyle Douglas, 440, 10 points behind, but with 24 bonus rings. He can get back in a number game. Those bonus rings serve very
Good look at Dane. Big old young man. He's been doing this for years. His dad's been right by his side. 10 for Kyle Douglas on that Shibuya Impala. Moves him to a 450.
Over to Justin Hanna, Asheville, North Carolina.
And for Justin Hanna.
Been ASA Shooter of the Year in known pro category before. And he goes right for the 14. Hanna's not playing around.
That will help your cause. 452.
And for Chris Perkins. Good to see him back.
And Christopher Perkins is our 5th place qualifier at a 438. And of course, that is based on bonus rings. Hanna comes into the same points scored, but on the bonus rings, which are the 12s out in qualification, he had 23 versus Perkins 21.
Chris started off with a 5 right there. He's got a big hill to climb now if he's going to try to get back on that podium.
And for Christopher Perkins, recently engaged. So congratulations to Christopher Perkins on the engagement. I did ask Christopher about his favorite snack, and he said that he likes peach rings. You ever had that?
Yes.
He loves them.
It's like a gummy worm in a ring, but
Yeah.
peach flavored,
So I hadn't had it before, so he claims he's going to bring a bag down from Canada for me.
coated in sugar.
Yeah, coated in sugar. My favorite part. On to arrow number 2. And Christopher Perkins rotates from our Bodoodle grazing doe all the way over to the stand mule deer, our first position target.
I don't think he'll let up. I think he'll shoot it every 14 now.
Yep. And he did. Just over the top of it. Going to give him another 5.
All right, Christopher Perkins on the.
So Perkins bid to try to. He's won 8 of these
Wow.
in the known pro category in his career, and he's trying to be the first shooter to go into double digits. And for this one, it's slipping through his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
He's
That's tough.
got 4 more shots at it this 2024 season. Of course, we're here now is at the Black Eagle Darton Pro-Am.
25 bonus rings.
Going down south. Curtis Broadnax.
472 for Curtis. So Curtis didn't have a blemish on his card then. 50 up with 25 bonus rings.
Unbelievable.
That's crazy in that weather.
Wow.
All right, Dane Johnson.
Dane Johnson, the Shibuya Impala. Upper 12 was called, and that's not smoking it.
He got
But that's nice and solid. And if you're new to archery, all that arrow has to do is just contact that scoring ring in some form or another, and it's called the higher point value.
That was a no-doubter. Ooh, that's a
Hannah
close
going for
one.
it again?
This is Kyle
Oh,
here.
sorry, Kyle. Yeah, Kyle, that's right.
Gosh,
Yeah,
that's
Kyle for the
close.
14. He got it.
Got it? Nice. 464.
That was the gold tip Russian boar. Now we go over to Justin Hanna.
And
And Hanna.
Did he go back-to-back?
10 for
Nope.
Nope.
Middle.
10. 462 now for Justin.
And that's the Bodoodle grazing doe. That's 43.5 yards away. So our longest one is that Shibuya Impala at 50 yards. As Hannah now is going to move to our stand mule deer, that's 45 yards downrange. But the thing is, it's been very tricky on the wind, that wind going left to right. We don't know if it's kind of quartered away, maybe it's catching some people off, or even where they're standing, it looks like it's relatively flat ground, but it also looks to us that it might be slightly coming our direction.
Yeah.
Slightly left to right downhill, so you got to remind your bubble.
It's tricky to read. It's also tough, too, mentally, because if you make a mistake, Chris has shot 2 5s. I mean, he's going for it. He's got nothing to lose, and I appreciate that effort. But like in Curtis's position, if he had a big lead coming in, he can't go crazy. So he's got to be shooting a little bit defensive while everybody else's guns are blazing.
Yeah.
So this is a tough class. This is tough positions to be in. Conditions are a little bit funky. 3 more arrows to go at least to see what happens.
For Dane Johnson, he's called the upper 12. Might be a strategy thing where he might be thinking 14 at this point. He's more in a battle with Kyle Douglas, I think, than he is catching Curtis Broadnax at this point.
Didn't like something there.
Yeah, good decision. Call that a good decision arrow.
Dane's a big old boy from northern Indiana.
Sure is. Hearing impaired as well. Always shoots with his hearing aids in. Doesn't want to come across as having an advantage for any distractions, and so he tries to shoot with his hearing aids at normal tones.
He's holding that bow good, nice and steady. Wow.
He just smoked that elevation javelina.
All right, first up, Justin Hanna.
This is our stand mule deer in lane number 1. That's Justin Hanna. Hanna
10
goes right.
to the right. Excuse me.
Yeah, trust me, the wind is blowing. Not only is the wind blowing at this point and the sun is out, but we're in shade, but all of a sudden there's yellow pollen everywhere. It is in your throat. It's on my computer.
Yes,
it is on the lenses
got
of
me
our
choked
cameras.
up.
And I guarantee you that it's also getting on the lenses of the shooters, as well as if they have a clarifier inside their peep sight. Here's your leader, Curtis Broadnax, shooting for elite. What bows he's shooting, Darren?
He's shooting a verdict. Left-handed verdict.
Left-handed verdict. And he goes a little right. Still a 10 ring, though.
Nothing wrong with that in his position.
And that's, I kind of feel for Curtis. He's got such a lead right now that putting it on cruise control, and really in the known pro category at the level we're shooting, shooting at the Big Ten ring is probably the safe play.
Yeah,
You
for
mentioned
sure.
it earlier. And
Yeah.
that's the way to go.
Nicely done.
But there's Dane Johnson, who comes in with a 14. So now he gets a 4-point chunk back on
478.
Curtis.
Yeah, he's only 4 points behind Curtis right now.
So now the question is what also, if he separates himself from Kyle Douglas.
On the dough.
I believe it's a 10 from Kyle. Ooh, that's close, but I think it's just a 10.
And look, for Dane Johnson,
Yeah.
he's won this twice.
10 for Kyle.
That's
Here.
right. This is his place.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. He got his first win here.
Yeah, formerly called Fort Benning, now called Fort Moore. A lot of shooters refer to it that way. We refer to it as Ooch Creek. Pro pressure point shoot down here in Russell County, Alabama. This is the 2024 Delta McKenzie ASA Pro-Am Tour, and we are at our second round of the season. It's the Black Eagle Darton Pro-Am. We're now, on arrow number 4 already?
Yep, this will be their fourth.
4 arrows of 5. So,
4 of the archers are within 10 points of Curtis still.
and that's the key, because whoever's within 10 points of our leader is going to go to a 6th arrow, which is our last chance archery, last chance arrow. The mouthful. It is that deal. But it sure is rhythmic.
So it looks like 4 of the 5 archers are shooting at upper 12s this time. Justin Hanna is shooting at the lower,
And
I
he's-
think on the javelina.
Correct. He's
Yeah.
on the javelina, 37-yard poke down range.
Elevation javelina.
Minute now.
Broadnax having another look as he
wonder
is
if-
on that gold tip Russian.
I wonder if he's looking at that Russian like he might go for it. It's 34 yards. Some of his competitors have hit it. He's looking to see what Dane did.
Yeah, Dane could have caught that 12. It depends if he pulls a line or not.
That was actually smart by Curtis to see what Dane did. Now I think Curtis will just shoot it at 12.
Kyle went for that 14. He's close as well. Oof.
He called upper. That's close.
Did call upper. Close to the right. We had a lot of close arrow calls.
There's a good look at Kyle. He's dangerous.
All right, first up, Kyle Douglas.
You saw that little bit of a little ginch at the end. And
I think that's it.
he might have caught it.
I think that's it.
And that's the response to Dane Johnson's 14.
14 for
He got
Kyle
it.
Douglas.
Wow. 488.
Another bonus ring for Kyle Douglas.
Don't know if that was wind dated, but
Trying to
it was
get 2 in a
well
row. And the one thing is that we did have, during that minute of shooting, we had a couple seconds there where it was pretty calm. Dane Johnson was one of the ones who let an arrow go when it was nice and calm. That's lower 12.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
12 for Justin Hanna.
Justin Hanna, as you mentioned, he was the only archer that didn't call the upper.
Yep.
He was able to nail it.
484 for Justin, if I'm correct.
And for Christopher Perkins.
And Christopher Perkins. Drum roll, please. Yikes.
He's got just a tick much heat in his bow right now.
A little bit.
461.
If Fives were a world championship, he would be world champ.
On the last target, he'll have a full house.
Good look at Curtis there. I think it's just a 10, but I can't see, obviously. Oh,
He's got a very
Uh-oh.
nice lead. Shooting for a solid.
I think they're going to call
I
that one.
think that's a 12.
I believe you might be right, sir. But we've talked about this before. Our perspective isn't always the correct one,
is.
but it is this time.
That's big for Curtis right there. That puts him at a 494.
He needed that, didn't he?
Yeah,
his-
because everybody that's inching closer to him, he's keeping that distance, and good for him.
This is one archer, Curtis Broadnax. If you've ever heard of something called target panic, this young archer has worked his way through it. He's gone through it the last couple of years and put in so much work to put himself in this position.
Right now at
488.
494.
Yeah, he came in off the range today and told me that he was leading again. I said, how? And I wasn't trying to be. I just was like, Curtis, what's going on in that head of yours? Because we shot indoor nationals last weekend, and, he didn't have the weekend he was hoping for, and I'm not dissing on him at all, but I'm just like, how do you flip that switch in just a few days to do it? And he just had a big grin on his face. He's like, I was just working with releases, man. And I'm like, awesome, good for you. So he's got something going on there that I can't perceive or conceive or understand, but he's got it figured out. Arrow number 5.
Okay, so here we go.
4 of the 5 are. Everybody's calling upper except on that javelina again. And that's Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Tim's in his ear down there telling him what he needs to do, but that javelina's got such a small 14 ring, and it's 37 yards.
All right, so Hannah needs to do whatever Curtis Broadnax is going to do at this point in order to give himself an opportunity to shoot that final last chance archery, last chance arrow.
Yeah.
After this arrow, Christopher Perkins will head home. After
Yeah, Curtis is 6 points over Dane and Kyle right now, and he's 10 points over Justin. So,
and Broadnax, of course, won a really close battle last year in Camp Minden. So Broadnax looking for his first win of 2024.
All right, this is where it gets set up for
that
final
is
arrow.
Dane.
Dane Johnson currently at 4, 88
There's
Stan
Dane.
Hildier.
points. Training Kyle Douglas by 2
He's got an 8 for sure. He's low right at that 14.
Yep, that's an 8.
So that's a 496 for Dane.
Elevation Javelina.
Now seems to have the advantage.
There's Tim Gillingham working with Kyle Douglas.
12 for Kyle Douglas.
12 for Kyle.
Okay.
4, that puts him at 500.
14s and a 12.
500.
That's a tough number to hit.
Next for Justin Hannah.
That's crazy, isn't it? 100 over par.
Yeah.
8 for Justin.
Just low right for Justin. 4.
He was gunning for it, though.
9,
You got to
2.
tip the cap to
Yep.
Hannah on that one.
Yeah, no, he almost had to have that just to have a sniff.
All right, for Christopher Perkins, as I said.
Christopher Perkins.
Full house, 5s and 8s.
Here's Curtis.
Oh, streak breaker.
Can he
There
hang
it
on to
is.
that lead?
Finally, after all these targets.
And what we heard,
Congratulations, sir.
14 for Mr. Perkins.
There you go. On a string of 5s and 8s.
475.
Breaks it with a 14.
I wasn't sure if he was tipping his head or flipping me off. All right. And Curtis
That means we're going to move
10.
to our leader, Curtis Broadnax, and it looks like he center punched a 10.
Okay. So
I
let's
believe
take
so.
our final
504.
504 and 27 bonus.
Yep.
rounds. Curtis Broadnax at 500, only 4 points.
Okay, so
behind
504.
Douglas.
So anyone who's got a 94 or better is going to shoot our last chance archery, last chance arrow.
Dane Johnson will shoot first. Kyle Douglas will shoot second. And Curtis will shoot last. Justin Hannah gets fourth, and Chris Perkins is fifth. There it is.
All right. So it looks like they're going to, let's see, that's the Shibuya Impala.
Not the easiest 14 to see or aim at.
So we'll find out, are they going to use the mule deer, the stand mule deer? Of course, that's going to turn into the last chance archery, last chance arrow. Generally what we see is you'll see them break out the hyena, which is the sixth target. But because of the windy conditions today, they've been actually choosing targets that are already sitting on the range. And we also have, you normally break out the last chance archery, last chance arrow signage, but with the wind the way it's been howling. I would say probably the last 30 minutes, it's the gusts have calmed down.
Yeah.
It's still windy, but it just hasn't been quite as brutally gusty as we've seen.
It's breezy, but not horrible. This 14 ring's a little sketchy on this thing here. It's not defined. It's not real definitive in that foam. But I imagine we're going to see at least two of them shot at.
So Dane Johnson, just off to the right, where the archers are looking right now, he's just up ahead. And in one of our camera views, he's nestled behind a tree. There's the last chance archery, last chance arrow. So Dane Johnson has got his rangefinder out. He already has got his mark, and he's setting his sight currently. So what they've done is they're using this target, but they moved the archers to a different distance. This isn't really that big on the drama side when you're in the known pro category.
For sure. Yeah, it's
They moved him closer anyway. So initially it was a 45-yarder. So I don't know. Guess You're a range judger. Would you say they're probably
6 yards closer?
All right, so let's just say 39.
39?
Yeah, 39 yards. It's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's also not the most difficult shot they get. So for currently third place, Dane Johnson, 8 points behind Curtis Broadnax. I got to imagine 14. He's got third wrapped up.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Yep, there he goes.
Smoked it.
No problem.
Big nod of the head.
Just another day at the
Got
office for Dane Johnson. Outstanding shot.
Puts him at a 5'10", I believe, if my math is correct.
All right, but that now sets the benchmark because he's got the highest score on the field with 2 archers left to shoot.
Mm-hmm. So Kyle needs a 10 to take second from him with bonus rings, I believe.
That's probably only our third or fourth 14 of the day?
Yeah, he's going to have to shoot a 14. 14, and Curtis is in great shape because Curtis has Kyle on bonus rings. No, that may not be right. This may come down to a bonus ring shoot-off. If Kyle 14's this, Curtis has to hit a bonus ring to win, I believe.
Yeah, but would the 12 bonus ring do it?
Yes, a 12 would do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
The 12's a little bit larger than the 14 ring.
The 12 would be easier to aim at for me.
It's at a flatter part of the target. It's a little bit larger ring, maybe it's the same size.
You've got that muscle definition there. I think of course, you do have the core. The point of the core makes that pretty easy to see as well.
I see what you're saying, yeah.
So Kyle needs this one to even make it interesting.
He's
got it.
He went for it.
5'14".
So that guarantees him second place.
Guaranteed second.
Dane Johnson in at 5'10". So now a 10 is going to tie him, and according to your calculations, that means Kyle Douglas is going to win. So for Curtis Broadnax, if he wants this win, he's got to go for a bonus ring.
He has to hit a ring, I believe.
Yeah, he does. So as confirmed by what we're hearing here in the field by Mike Tyrrell. So your bet is just go for a 12 ring.
Depends on what he wants to see. For me, it would be easier to aim at a 12. I know the target better. I know the references against that shoulder.
Does that 14 look bigger than the 12?
The 14 is bigger.
Oh, yeah.
It's less definition unless he can pick up those arrow holes there. So his odds are probably better at the 14 because it's bigger, but I think I could aim better at it if I was shooting at a 12. He did put the cone out for upper.
Biggest bonus ring of the year so far for Curtis Broadnax. Ooh, and it went right.
It's under it.
So Kyle Douglas ends up on bonus rings, coming from behind to win this tournament.
So Kyle's going to take that win. Is that right?
Kyle is going to take that win on bonus rings.
Wow.
A heartbreaker for Curtis Broadnax.
Yeah.
But what an effort for him. But for Kyle Douglas, he wins another one, goes 2 for 2 on the season for Kyle. And Kyle Douglas came in third place, 10 points back. But the key is that he was only one bonus ring behind Curtis Broadnax.
Isn't that something?
Curtis is going to be thinking about that strategy at the beginning. They're just going for those 10s.
Yeah.
In this class now, it's like you've got to start gunning for bonus rings straight out of the gate, even with a 10-point lead.
It's become such a can't miss. You know, it really is. You have to hit the rings. You can't ever lay up and play safe because the guys behind you, they got nothing to lose. And Kyle had nothing to lose there. He just mashed the gas, and poor Curtis didn't want to give anything up. I don't blame him. Curtis didn't do anything wrong.
I don't think he did either.
I don't think he did anything wrong. Kyle just mashed the gas and took that win.
And halfway through this match, it looked like it was Dane Johnson and Kyle Douglas battling it out for second place. But just like that, Kyle Douglas coming back from a 10-point deficit in a single bonus ring. Big W on this one. Kyle, how does it feel?
That was awesome. I knew I had a long ways to make up in the shoot-off, and I knew it was possible. I've done it before, but I knew I just had to go out there guns a-blazing and probably hit some hard 14s, and luckily I was able to make it happen.
Kyle, you have done about everything, indoors, outdoors. Do you have any fear at all? Does anything ever scare you when you're out there shooting these arrows?
I wouldn't say scare me, no. I mean, there's definitely times you're more nervous than others, but I've been in enough situations now. It's you just kind of go to work and And do what you're supposed to do.
Well, you did your job well right there. You took that win. We were just talking. I don't think Curtis really made any mistakes. You just hit some 14s, and you took that win. Congratulations on back-to-back.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, so Kyle Douglas, your known pro champion. And wow, he did it in fine style, coming from third place, the Pro Pressure Point Shootdown. It's the Black Eagle Darton Pro-Am, our second round of the Delta McKenzie ASA Pro-Am Tour here in 2024. Great archery action and more coming at you after the break.
All right, we have 5 minutes to sit the board down. First place in women's basketball.
I have to shoot the best or there's just no point in doing it. I'm blown away at just how easy each arrow tunes right out of the box. Ultra arrows, the pinnacle of precision and performance.
The X10 is the most successful arrow in competitive archery history, accounting for far more medals than any other individual piece of sporting equipment in Olympic history. Easton introduces the latest innovation of the X10 lineup, the 4mm Parallel Pro. Parallel Pro offers legendary X10 precision for all forms of archery. Elevate your precision. Your journey to the podium begins with Easton X10.
Ryan Jeffries, Mr. Ryan Reed, Chris Hacker, Alan Connor, Benny Barger, and your number 1 qualifier from Voorheesville, New York, Jacob Sluzard.
I thought I could hang with these guys, and I wanted to prove that, but winning after 5 tournaments it's just a lot.
Hey, Tony, we just got a new site in. We need a product video on it ASAP. I got an appointment. I'm not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to do it.
I have 50 other things to do today, and I have to do your job too. This is a sight. You put it on a bow. It has 3 pins for aiming. Is that good enough?
Shop Lancaster Archery Supply for all your archery needs. We've got the gear, we've got the knowledge, we've got the passion.
I have to shoot the best or there's just no point in doing it. I'm blown away at just how easy each arrow tunes right out of the box. Ultra arrows, the pinnacle of precision and performance.